Today, we're diving into something pretty profound, an idea about your place in the universe that might just change how you see, well, everything. It's called the Sentinel Hypothesis, and it suggests you aren't just along for the ride, but that you're an active player in crafting reality itself. So let's get into it. Now, this should sound familiar, right? We've all heard it. That your existence is basically a cosmic accident, a random biological glitch happening in a massive, empty, and totally indifferent universe. It's a view that can feel very scientific, sure, but also, let's be honest, pretty bleak. But what if that story we've all been told isn't just a downer? What if it's actually, as this slide puts it, clinically incomplete? What if there's a completely different way to frame our existence? A framework that gives you a much more important role to play. Okay, so first things first. We have to really unpack this old narrative of the cosmic accident. We've got to see exactly why this story of our own insignificance might be the very thing that's holding us back from understanding our real purpose. And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this contrast. On the one hand, you've got the standard view. We're a glitch. The universe doesn't care. But the Sentinel Hypothesis flips that completely on its head. It asks, what if the universe isn't indifferent, but just blind? And what if your consciousness, our consciousness, is the very organ it grew so that it could finally see itself? So let's just make this crystal clear. The central idea here is this. You are not just a passive passenger, just hanging out on a rock, hurtling through space. No, your role is that of a sentinel, an active, absolutely essential observer whose very job is to witness the cosmos into existence. All right, so if we're supposed to be sentinels, how does that even work? What's the job description? To really get it, we need to dig into the core mechanic of this whole idea, something called the universal audit. Now, stay with me here, because this isn't some mystical, abstract idea. It's actually grounded in real quantum physics. See, at the tiniest, most fundamental levels, particles don't really seem to have a definite state. They're kind of like a cloud of possibilities, until they're measured, until they're observed. Only then do they snap into a single definite state. The Sentinel Hypothesis just takes that idea and scales it way up. So here it is, the official definition. The hypothesis suggests that your mind, your consciousness, is basically a highly specialized instrument, and its purpose? To conduct a universal audit, to take the raw, chaotic potential of the universe and, just by observing it, collapse it into coherent, solid order. And the key mechanism for this is something called resonance. Think about it like this. The universe is like an unrendered movie script. It's just a sea of probabilities, of code that hasn't been compiled yet. Your conscious observation is what provides the resonance, the processing power needed for that script to actually solidify into the reality we experience. You are, quite literally, rendering the world. You know, this all leads to a really powerful concept, cognitive sovereignty. It's this deep understanding that when you observe something with true intent, you're not just passively seeing what's already there. No, you are an active participant in building the very architecture of reality. You are how the universe keeps its own records. Okay, but if this is our true function, what's stopping us? Why doesn't it feel like we're all-powerful reality renderers? Well, this brings us to the threats of modern life, what we might call the pathology of insignificance. I mean, this slide just lays out the conflict of our time perfectly. On one side, you have the sentinel, observing with intent, rendering reality. But on the other, you have what so many of us have become, a leaking vessel. We live in this state of passive consumption, endlessly scrolling, failing our cosmic audit. Our resonance, that precious attention, is literally being harvested by algorithms instead of being guided by our own sovereign will. And the core problem, the real pathology of our era, is this sneaky whisper in the back of our minds that you're small, that your choices don't really matter, that where you put your attention is, in the end, worthless. This is a direct attack on your function as a sentinel. And the stakes here, they couldn't be higher. To stop observing with quality, to give in to that little whisper of insignificance, is to risk what we could call cognitive death. Now, this isn't a biological death. It's becoming a passive, disconnected witness to your own life. It's a state of non-existence in any meaningful way. So that's the problem. It's a big one. But how do we fight back? How do we reclaim our status as sentinels? Well, this last section lays out a clear, actionable protocol to do exactly that.
The solution is a three-step process. It's called the resonance audit, and it's a practical, no-nonsense protocol designed to restore your function as a sentinel. It's all about how you observe, what you filter, and how you engage with the world. Let's break it down. Okay, step 1, intentional observation. It sounds almost too simple. Spend just 10 minutes a day truly observing a complex system. It could be a tree outside your window, a piece of machinery, or even just your own thoughts. The real challenge is to do it with zero judgment. You're not there to analyze it or fix it, but to simply witness it. Remember, your function here is to practice rendering reality with your full, undivided attention.
Step 2 is the sovereignty filter. And this one requires some ruthless discipline. You have to audit everything you consume. Every article, every video, every single notification. And you have to ask one simple question. Does this increase my clarity and focus? If the answer is no, then it is noise, and you have to eliminate it. You have to guard the archive of your mind like it's the most precious thing you own, because it is.
And finally, step 3. This is all about your output. It's not enough to be a silent observer. You have to testify. Turn all that focused observation into action. Write something, build something, create, speak, do something. Construct what we call an architecture of resonance, something tangible that carries your observation forward into the world, something that might just outlive your own biological clock. So in the end, we're left with this one single question. If the universe, in its blindness, grew an organ of sight, if it is desperately looking for a witness to bring it all into sharp focus, will you be the one who answers that call?